Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how I start the process of creating a chatbot. You can also think of this as starting a custom GPT, but anytime I'm planning a new chatbot or custom GPT, I always start with a basic conversation in ChatGPT. Now, in this video, I am using ChatGPT 4, but if you do not have the plus version, no problem. You can use ChatGPT 3.5 and use the same strategy. So for this chatbot that I'm working on, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to make it a chatbot or a custom GPT, but the outcome that I'm looking for here is a chatbot that helps with creating long form posts on Twitter and uses the strategy of creating a hook at the beginning of that long form post. And my goal with creating chatbots is to ultimately get to a framework. So I'm going to just take you through this conversation and talk to you about the different strategies that I'm using here. So when we start, the basics of prompting is you want to give it a role. So again, the outcome that I'm looking for is to have a framework for long form posts that also include hooks, great hooks. So I start with the role. You are a social media expert. You are a content creation expert. You see, these are simple, short sentences. You specialize in writing threads and long form posts on Twitter. And then this is a key strategy here. What I do before moving on is I ask, what information do you need from me? And this is the information that I'm later going to include in the body of my chatbot. But I find it to be a great strategy to ask ChatGPT what it needs from me to make a great prompt or a great post. And so this is what's been given here. So when I do go to create my chatbot, I'm going to make sure to include these elements. For the purpose of this, I went ahead and answered the different questions and I got the results. Now, when it comes to prompt engineering, we're looking at the responses and the output and deciding how we feel about it. Are we happy with this? And then we make the changes that we need to make. So what I did here was I looked at these 5 options that I received, and I really liked 2 and 3. I didn't love the other ones. So then what I did was I said, please give me 5 more that are like 2 and 3. And it did. Okay, so you can narrow down and engineer how you change the prompt based on the output that's given to you and what you like about it. Okay, so it gave me 5 more. And then what I did is I used a tool called Perplexity. So from here, I go into Perplexity, and a great strategy I find is to actually use the term key element. Perplexity, if you don't use it, it's one of my everyday AI tools. I absolutely love it. It's free. I do not pay for the pro version. I have not found a reason to. When you come in, you can start a new thread and you can just ask your question. So my question is, what are the key elements of writing a great hook for a long form post? Because this is how I'm starting, is with the hook. And then what you can do here is you take these key elements, and you see, the thing I love about Perplexity is that it includes the resources, which is really great. And you have the option here to copy this response, and then I put this in ChatGPT as part of my prompt. So I'm asking ChatGPT to now give me 5 more examples, but include these key elements with all the sources and everything. Okay, so now it's going to go through and give me new hooks that include those key elements. Okay, so I'm happy with this. I've got my hooks. I've got my prompt ready for the kind of hooks that I'm going to want to create. So now I'm going to move on to the next part, which is turning these hooks into long form posts. Now I'm choosing to do this just for the first post here, which is this one. Revolutionize your content creation. AI chatbots aren't just tools, they're game changers. So we're going to go with that post. And again, I'm going to go back into Perplexity, and you can build on the question here. So then I asked a follow-up. So I just went into this bar here, this prompt, And I said, what are the key elements for turning hooks into great posts? And then I do the same thing. I copy this and I put it back into ChatGPT and I get my response. Okay, so now this is the long form posts that I asked for ChatGPT to create. And you see here, it's going through and it's including all of the different elements. Now for me, I'm a writer, so I don't usually love the way that the responses look totally for me to be able to copy and paste it right into a long post. What I'm really doing here is turning this into a framework. Now, one of the things I do love about ChatGPT 4 and the upgrade is that you can also create visuals. So you'll see in this conversation, which I'll include the link to this in the post, that I do go through and ask for some visuals. But for now, I'm going to skip this because this isn't really necessary for the chatbot. So I'm going to go ahead and skip down to this last part that really takes me to my final outcome. So what I asked for here is to help me turn the long form post into a template that can be used over and over again. And really, this is the part that I'm going to be loading into the chatbot so that anytime I want to create a long form post, I make sure that I'm getting an engaging hook and I have all of these key elements in the long form post. And these are based off of key elements that were found in the perplexity response that again are attached to different articles and sources that come up with this. It's always important to look through, make sure you agree with everything. But as you can see, I have a really nice framework here. And the next step is that I can take this framework in addition to the key elements and the other parts of this prompt, such as the beginning here, where asked for these questions, and I can put this into my chatbot builder. Now, one thing that I like to do when I'm building a chatbot is I like to ask for the chatbot to ask these questions to the user one by one by one, because sometimes a user might see 6 questions and they're like, I don't feel like answering all of this. So you can train your chatbot for how you want the experience with the user to be. But overall, I just wanted to show you this example and give you the breakdown. I'm not done with this chatbot yet. This is just the beginning. So this is me building live. Hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching.